Hello there, one and all, and for the final time before the channel goes on its summer break, thank you very much for tuning in to Love at First Scent. This is episode 483, not long to go before we get to episode 500. First comment goes to David, who says, hello all, looking forward to the Puente Parfum review, and so you should. Smarks says, I've heard so much about Celine, hard to find a place to smell it outside London. I have got a review of all of the earlier Celines over on Persolaise.com, so if you go onto the perfume review tab, you should be able to find the other reviews. Paul Perfemo says, hello everybody. Keith says, there many wondrous things to be discussed in this episode. Polpo says, Puente is way too expensive. I wanted to buy at least the Discovery set, but those prices are nuts. Okay, interesting. I wonder what the response from the brand would be. Okay, so in an episode that will hopefully not, well, it will definitely not go longer than an hour. These are some of the things that I would like to talk to you about. Some are old, some are new, some are definitely not new. They're a case of sort of like trying to tie up loose ends, things that we wanted to talk to you about for a little while, or things that also are new to me, that I only recently got samples of. So it's a sort of odds and sods mix and match type episode. But before we go any further, in case we're in a rush at the end, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to all of you, as always, for watching these videos, whether you're watching live or you're watching the recording, for asking questions which are always so helpful and insightful, because they I think help me to come up with more useful things to say about the scents themselves. Thank you very much for all the encouragement, for all the laughs, for all the comments, for all the coffee support. I really appreciate it. It means a great deal to me. It's wonderful to be able to interact with you in this way. And believe it or not, I always do miss doing the videos over the summer, but I also think it's important for me to have like a sort of, and for you as well, to have a kind of total clean break. I'm sure I will be posting various bits and bobs on social media over the course of the next few weeks, and also on the community chat here on YouTube. But until sort of end of August, beginning of September, this will be the final video. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be unless in the next few days I get a sample in the post of something like really extraordinary that I need to review without delay, but I kind of doubt that's going to happen. Alex says, thank you, Mr. P. Your videos are so wonderful and informative. That's very kind. Thank you. Sharon says, Tina says, thank you for everything. So I think we need to get a move on. I'm kind of looking at this display here, and I don't know whether there's something about my screen, but that looks very the juices there look quite monochromatic, whereas I'm looking at them here, and there's, you know, that Celine there is quite dark, the Puente is quite dark. Anyway, so these are the things that I would like to go through with you. Why don't we start with the Celines, with the crazy overpriced Celines. The Celine perfumes, if anybody out there knows who's made them, please just message me. I promise I won't tell anybody. I would really love to know who's made them, or at least if somebody knows for a fact whether they were made by, you know, different perfumers, whether it's more than one perfumer. I'd love to know that as well. I am just so intrigued. I'm so intrigued. Now, the Celine perfumes, when they first came, oh my goodness, look at that. Proper earthquake there. When they first came out, they were very crazily sort of hyped. And I don't think I entirely went along with the hype, but there are some that I do enjoy. We reviewed the brand new one, Zuzu, just a few weeks ago, didn't we? And this is one, Bois Dormant. So what is that? Dormant wood, that came out. I think that one was 2022, wasn't it? Bois Dormant. And I have had a sort of pre-snap. Look at these huge chunky bottles. Why don't they make smaller bottles so that they don't have to charge as much for them? I mean, that is a statement bottle, a commitment bottle. And Bois Dormant, I think, for me, goes onto the list of the better ones from the brand. They all very definitely have a particular style, a particular aesthetic. They're rather sort of elegantly, restrainedly chic. I think that's their thing. Who just wrote and said, I like Bois Dormant? That's Polpo. Good to know. That Celine bottle looks like it's got a liter in it, says Tool. No, it's 200 mils. I'm pretty sure it is 200 mils. Let's see. I can't see that. Then yeah, it is 200 mils, which is a lot for perfume. Woozy says, I find the 100 ml sprayers are way better than the 200 mils in the Celine range. Does dormant mean sleeping? Well, I think so. You know, dormant wood, sleeping wood, slumbering wood. And actually, whoever made it, whether they actually really did kind of interact with Hedi Slimane, who's still creative director at Celine, I believe, whoever was involved with it, perfect name for this scent, because it really, really is like quiet woods, slumbering woods, nocturnal woods, a kind of sleeping gentle giant. So there is authority here, but there is also gentleness and tenderness. What do you get? What do you get when you smell it? I got a suggestion of licorice, a suggestion of immortelle, a suggestion of something balsamic, but then also a really, really kind of suave, elegant, slightly leathery, ever so slightly fruity iris comes through. And you start thinking to yourself, this isn't a million miles away from Dior Homme. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Hedi Slimane at Dior when they released the original Dior Homme, the original much missed Dior Homme, which was composed by Olivier Polge? And it's really, really rather elegant. And I am looking forward to wearing it a bit more. What do they say about it? What does the brand say about it? The brand says, Bois Dormant evokes the luxurious comfort and understated classic architecture of the English double-breasted flannel blazer. Okay, that Hedi Slimane has consistently designed throughout his life as a couturier. The day twin of black tie. This delicate woody fragrance is, as in black tie, their perfume black tie. This delicate woody fragrance is underscored with the bleached accents of powdery cologne. I looked down the notes. The key notes are bergamot, juniper, white orris, butter, cedar, and vetiver. Pradeep says, Hedi just making spiritual flankers of Dior Homme and Bois d'Argent at Celine. Yeah, which kind of makes you think, could it be Francis Kurkdjian, you know, sort of working under condition of anonymity? Could it be Annick Menardo? Oh, we have to know. We have to know. Somebody please tell me. How did you find the longevity of this one on skin, says Woozy? But these are quieter scents, okay? So it's not... I actually wore a vintage Dior Homme just the other day, and I love... It's just the correct sort of level of diffusion of sillage. It's a scent that does project original Dior Homme. This one is quieter, but it's unquestionably present. Where's pre-sprayed blotter for Bois Dormant? Here we go. Pre-sprayed. Yeah, what you get in the dry down is a kind of quietly, elegantly powdery iris. I mean, it's got elegance running all the way through it. I mean, whether I'm thinking double-breasted flannel blazer, I'm thinking of something a little bit more modern than flannel and a bit more modern than double-breasted, even though I know that double-breasted kind of keeps coming back. We keep being told that double-breasted blazers and jackets are back. To me, it's just a tiny little bit edgier, but maybe in that kind of restrained Italian edgy way. To me, it's a kind of single button jacket, a sort of very slim fitting single button jacket. But it's nicely done. It's very, 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 very well done. And moving on then to this huge beast of a bottle. This is one of their colognes. They had in their original lineup their Cologne Française, which was a really interesting take on a cologne because it was kind of dirty, as we might say in this part of the south of England. It was a little bit skanky, a little bit sort of wrong, which kind of made it right. This is called Cologne Celeste, and it's actually sold as a splash. And when you get the bottle, you get this sort of sprayer. But I kind of think it's really, really annoying and disappointing that they didn't actually design a cap that would allow you to put it over the sprayer, because you can't. So you can either have this cap and have it as a splash or have the sprayer. But, such a shame that I didn't smell this before doing my best colognes video just the other day, because this is a really, really wonderful cologne. I mean, a seriously great cologne. very, very pricey as well. And I think it's 250 mils. They're obviously going down the Cologne route with this one very, very strongly, because I think it's also got, I'm pretty sure there's a soap and a body lotion. There may be a shower gel. So this is meant to be like their kind of bath ritual line. But it's a seriously nice cologne. It's in the vein of Cologne and Isabelle from Frederic Malle, meaning that it really kind of plays heavily with the sort of modern musks, but the musks have been so well judged, and that narrowly note, the petit grain note in the middle, is so convincing, and again, really, really effortlessly chic, really sophisticated. You would actually kind of want to splash this all over yourself if it didn't cost a bomb. I mean, Bois Dormant costs £215 for 100 mils, and the Cologne Celeste is £240, but I'm guessing that's for the large bottle. I think maybe that just comes in the one bottle. What does the brand say about it? I created the eau de Cologne. I'm guessing this is a quote from Hedi Slimane. I created the eau de Cologne Celeste and its line for the intimate and comforting ritual of bathing. This is an essential gesture that systematically plunges me back into the gentle and soothing atmosphere of childhood. Narrowly, and its slightly sugary, rounded and tender notes weaves the composition's backdrop. The musky notes of ambrette prolong its comforting softness, while the powdery veil of orris adds the refinement and muted signature of Celine Haute Parfumerie. The notes are angelica, sweet lemon essence, petit grain, narrowly accord, ambrette butter, and orris butter. As Amethyst Glow says, yeah, I know what you mean. Things are so bad now, that doesn't even sound that expensive to me. Yes, things are being normalized, are they not? Yeah. Is it a take on Dior Homme Sport, says David? Oh, no. No, it doesn't have that really wonderful gingeriness to it. No, I didn't think of any of the Dior Hommes with this one. I thought of Cologne and Isabelle. I thought maybe of Mugler's Cologne, but it is a beast of its own. I think the Neroli is more pronounced here. And I just caught somebody saying, would you say this is better or worse than the Chanel Exclusive Eau de Cologne? I mean, is it really, really terrible to say that? I think this is one that I would be more drawn to wearing. I think the Chanel is more classical, more old-fashioned, maybe just a tiny little bit sort of staid. You know, maybe the Chanel is sort of double-breasted men's jacket. This has kind of got a trendier feel to it, a more sort of 21st century sci-fi-ish feel to it, which is maybe also why it reminds me of the Frederic Malle cologne. I think it's nicely done. It's really, really nicely done, and just a shame that it's so pricey. Where's the pre-sprayed one? There we go, pre-sprayed cologne Celeste, and such a great name for it. You know, celestial cologne really does feel like a celestial cologne. Yeah, it's kind of just quietly, gently, and yet convincingly sort of powdery, musky. The way you'd want, you know, sort of freshly laundered clothes to smell if they haven't been drowned in terrible fabric softener. So a nice couple of releases. And I think Bois Dormant, to me anyway, is more interesting than their latest one, than Zuzu. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to this brand that I think I first came to know of through a comment left by one of you. The brand is named after the perfumer and the founder of the brand, Isabelle Larignon. Apparently, she was, maybe still is, I don't know, mentored by one Bertrand Duchaufour. And very, 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 very kindly, Brooke Belden, who is the founder and owner manager of the UK-based online perfume retailer Saint Cellier, sent me these three in the post. So full bottles of the first two scents and a kind of smaller bottle of the latest scent. And I gather, if the note in the parcel was anything to go by, was to be trusted, that it was at Isabelle Larignon's request that this parcel was very kindly sent to me. And you know what? Coming off the back of the video, this won't mean anything to you if you're watching this as a recording, but we have just done a live on a sort of showcase on two different brands, the brand BB and the brand Vireo. Search those videos out. But coming off the back of that video, coming off the back of smelling those sorts of scents, and coming to the brands that are stocked by Saint Cellier and brands, you know, like Isabelle Larignon, like Les Indemodables, like oh God, my mind's gone blank, like Nila Vermeer, what's the brand? Oh, that's really, really bad. Les Abstraits. Um, and all interesting brands. Thank goodness, seriously, that we have people like Brooke Belden who are actually trying to show that you don't need silly gimmicks, you don't need to push the wellness thing, you don't need to unnecessarily try and hook perfume to other to other goods, you know, to other merchandise. Perfume can speak for itself. Thank goodness that people are like that are still around, and we need to do what we can to support them, I think, because if we're not careful, they will not be able to survive, and they will disappear. And brands like Isabelle Larignon's brand, even though, you know, even if I don't particularly like all of the perfumes, we need brands like that to stick around, because I think they are going to be the ones that are going to be driving perfumery in more interesting directions in the future. Christian says, I agree, her love of perfume shines through. I mean, absolutely, absolutely. Parfum d'Empire, thank you very much. Christian says, talking of stories, the Flocon perfume does that perfectly with a very interesting idea. I know. So let's smell these. So the brand started, and as I say, until you'd mentioned it to me, I had no idea about it. I didn't know anything about it. The brand's first launch was this one here, Le Flocon de Johann K. Incidentally, I'm not a packaging freak either, but I was just so taken with this really, really beautifully done, sort of almost origami-esque packaging that then tells you a little bit about the perfume inside. I mean, just really, really nice touches, nice attention to detail. The bottles are kind of simplistic, simple without being boring, without being dull. Eris, thank you very much, Johann. I knew I was missing a big one. Eris, thank you. Sorry, Barbara. Sorry, Antoine. Eris, of course, thank goodness that you mentioned them as well. So let's start with the first one. This one, I think I initially, anyway, read a little bit differently from how I was meant to read it, but that's fine. That's what makes interesting perfumes interesting, right? Thank goodness that they're not kind of bland and immediately legible and immediately understandable. As it approaches its dry down, I think, okay, yes, I'm kind of with you. I'm on the same page as you. So what did I get when I first smelt the bottle of Johann K? I actually got something kind of dusty and soil-like, and not exactly dirty, but maybe just slightly grimy, which I know is not what we're going for, but kind of bear with me. Because, and I'm going to, if it's well, I'm going to say, is it okay? I hope it's okay. I'm sure it's okay, because this text is in the public domain, right? So I can read it out. I'm going to read a little bit from the Saint Celier website, because it really explains the story behind this perfume very well. So the blurb not the blurb, but the write-up goes, what connects Johann Kepler, 17th century astronomer and a mathematician, with Lydie Lascarmontier, a French glaciologist who was trapped in ice for 56 days in 2011 on the Astrolabe Antarctica expedition? The answer is Le Flocon de Johann K, or Johann K's snowflake. Oh, so it's not a flacon, it's a flocon. Okay, sorry, Persolaise. It's not the bottle, it's a flocon. I didn't know that a flocon was a snowflake. The first composition by French perfumer Isabelle Larignon. Kepler wrote a treatise revealing the astonishing beauty of snowflakes, their hexagonal nature, and the fact that every snowflake is unique. In December 2018, while trying to decide between two ideas for a fragrance for her olfactory design course, Teenage Wallflower or Snowflake, I kind of feel that we need to get this person on. Yeah, I hope her English is okay, because my French is terrible, and get a live interview with her on the channel. Isabelle heard a radio interview in December 2018 with the glaciologist Lydie Lascarmontier, who was asked by a journalist if snow had a smell, which was left unanswered. And so then the idea was to try to create the smell of snow. Everything in Le Flocon has been composed with snowy elegance. As to the scent of snow, this imaginative perfume glitters against an achromic ground, dreamed into being by a talented perfumer. And the notes are bergamot, lemon, and cyclamen, cardamom, frankincense, mimosa absolute. You get, it's a beautiful mimosa note in here, an aquatic accord, an ozonic accord, mint, oak moss, white musk, and narcissus absolute. Johannes Kepler says, Alex lived and worked here in Graz, by the way. Ah, wonderful. Rich Mitch did an interview with Brooke a couple of weeks ago, says 4Go Perfumes. Oh, okay, that's a good tip. Thank you. People seek that one out. Sundays Are for Quiet says, I recently got a sample from Cellier of Milky Dragon. Wasn't so sure about it on paper, but then tested on skin, and it's beautiful, so unique. We will get onto that one in a sec. So as it quietens down, yes, you get into the sort of beautiful territory of things like Après l'Ondée, but much snowier, much quieter, much less floral, of L'Eau d'Hiver, which of course was also inspired by Après l'Ondée. You also go in the direction of Tom Ford Métallique. I think the criminally underrated, now discontinued Métallique, but this is what Métallique really should have been. Christian says, I got a very watery, personal mimosa, very much a quiet scent. It's really intimate, isn't it? But it's present, it's there, it lasts, it doesn't fade away. Technically, it's well constructed. I'm so glad that I picked up that Flocon is Snowflake, because I think I was just thinking it's Johann K's bottle. Never mind. And I do love a nicely done mimosa, and this one is really, really convincing. Kind of gently, just faintly yellowy, buttery, creamy. It just feels like it might melt if you're not careful. Only in perfume would we comment on the elegance of snow, says Wax Stuff, and that's why perfumery is so interesting. Let's get the pre-sprayed one. So this is pre-sprayed Snowflake. Yeah, and it's extremely well handled. It's I suppose kind of linear, maybe kind of going into the musks now, but unquestionably present, and it works extremely well. Un Flocon is so refreshing in the heat, says Sandra. Longevity is amazing. There you go. Next comes the one that all of you told me I needed to try, Milky Dragon. I mean, what a great name for a perfume. So let's have a spray of that one as well. So I think that one came out in 2022, possibly. We will read the blurb for that one in a second as well. So there we are. Okay. Now, see, again, that's equally subtle, equally quiet, but actually very, very, very different direction in terms of style. This one, I mean, I don't know whether you detect a kind of milkiness because of the association with the name. I read a really, really fascinating thing about experiments done on associations and the power of association, and we are all human, and I'm not immune to the power of association either. The power of suggestions and associations, people being given the exact same things to eat, but in different colored containers, and then they swear blind that they're eating different things and all this sort of stuff. So I have been persuaded that I'm getting a kind of milkiness here, but there's also definitely a suggestion of something tea-like, of something quietly spicy, of something green, of something maybe sort of peachy, apricotty, which then makes me think, okay, so is there a kind of osmanthus note happening here? Yet another discovery set I want to try. Yeah, this is you need to try this discovery set. So what's the blurb on Milky Dragon? It draws inspiration from Milky Oolong tea, resulting in a multifaceted and captivating olfactory rendering, a delicate arrangement of bergamot, and I don't even know what this is, buchu. I think it's a sort of flower, but I'm guessing we pronounce it buchu. Somebody tell me what that is. And cardamom gradually gives way to velvety lactones and indulgent hazelnut. Milky Dragon is a cryptic composition, mystery and opacity behind porcelain cold thematics. Beneath the surface of this fascinating perfume, exquisite things writhe and scintillate like jade dragon scales, which is great writing. So the notes are bergamot and this buchu or buku stuff, cardamom, butter, rose ketones, jasmine, ionones, lactones, hazelnut, ozonic notes, clary sage, cashmeran, cedar, fir balsam, and oak moss. And Christian says buchu is camphorous. Aha! Thank you very, very much. It is interesting. I mean, I personally, well, my personal favorite, but then is the latest one. But then that is because it is the most me. But out of the first two, I think I would have been more intrigued by Johann K. Where is our pre-sprayed Milky Dragon? Here we are. Oh, Sabine says, my first live hello from Bordeaux. Bonsoir, you're very, very welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in. Yeah, so this is the pre-sprayed one. Again, kind of linear, hasn't sort of changed its personality drastically, but still unquestionably there with the sort of gently milky lactonic musky notes. Ilias, hello, says, is it like the beautiful Jovoy perfume, the one that has tea? Oh, I can't remember that one. Which is their tea one? I can't remember. And then the latest one is called Bangla Yasaman, which takes the brand in a very, very, very different direction, but it's the kind of direction that I like, because this is a really, really full-on, there we go, a full-on, lovely, indolic, but really, really interesting jasmine. Really nicely done. And I think well done to Isabelle for just taking people by surprise. And, you know, she sort of thought, okay, so I've given you these two quiet, subtle ones. Now, let me show you what else I can do. And she can definitely conjure the Indian subcontinent. Oh, Christian says, this one surprised me too. It's really good. I mean, and I love a jasmine. Jasmine, I suppose the other thing as well is that this one is less abstract than the other two. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she felt that she needed to do something that was more immediately legible, more overtly legible, more overtly comprehensible. But I think she's done it without compromising quality, because what's interesting is that you recognizably get a jasmine, but then you start smelling it and you think, oh, but there's lots of interesting things going on here, because it's almost as though she is trying to present jasmine in lots of different sorts of ways. So you get the facets of the jasmine that have caused people in the past to link it with smoke and with cigarettes and with tobacco and with lush forests and with kind of urban bodily grime and actually with fleshiness and carnality and bodies. It's really, really seriously nicely done. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to wearing it. I get that super hit of cardamom, says Christian. Oh, do you mean from this? Yeah, it well, I wouldn't be surprised if it's got cardamom. Let's find out actually what the brand says. It translates as Bengali jasmine, the name. Inspired by men selling the fragrant jasmine garlands and flowers on bustling Indian streets. The garlands are strung with the miasma of rich, flirtatious jasmine that Isabelle Larignon has chosen to focus on in this, her third perfume. Wearing Bangla Yasaman is a gorgeous experience, a magnificent jasmine accord with multifaceted diffusion, wrapped in an infusion of spices, buttery white tobacco, velveteen vanilla, and the boreal satisfaction of fir balsam. It lasts beautifully on skin, holding its form for hours as night falls. And yes, I can just see that one of the notes in there is cardamom, the buchu stuff again, bitter orange petitgrain, celery seed, osmanthus, saffron, Peru balsam, tobacco, some indoles, and green vanilla. It's David says, is it a jasmine like the one Francis K has been pushing in his latest Miss Dior perfume? Oh, is that the one I've smelled? I've lost track of how many Miss Diors there are. This is my favorite jasmine is still Joy by Patou. How is it in comparison, says Alex? Well, for a start, we can't get that Joy anymore. But Joy is as much about rose as it is about jasmine. This is a kind of full-on indolic jasmine. So here you've got to be thinking about things like maybe À la Nuit from Serge Lutens. What other sort of all-out jasmines are there? Do you remember Grand Bal, which was a sort of nice one from Dior back in the day? I don't think it exists anymore. Jasmine and Cigarettes, which I think is gone from Italie d'Orange. So, you know, snap this one up. Jasmin Bonheur by Garlin, says David. I need to remind myself of that one, because I'm not sure it ever sort of really struck me as being full-on jasmine-y, but I may have misremembered. But this is really, really nicely done. And where is our pre-sprayed jasmine? So pre-sprayed, yeah, that is the one. Here we go. Jom says, "Ooh, I'm Bengali." Okay, well then you need to kind of verify this. I haven't been to Bangladesh, but I've been to Calcutta, which of course has a very, very strong Bengali influence, and I do actually remember smelling tuberose and jasmine garlands there, and it's beautiful. It's just like such a strong association of India. So this is pre-sprayed, yeah, and it just holds its shape so well. You know, it doesn't fall apart. I'd love to find out more about her story and how she got into perfumery. Right, We are doing well so far, I think. The next two, I don't want to dwell on terribly long, but they're ones that I've been meaning to. Well, I've been meaning to talk about them since they came out, which is really quite some time ago. Um, and I think I may have just sort of mentioned them i- in passing on social media every now and then. And they are these. They are from 2021. A Drop d'Issey from Issey Miyake. I think there are two flankers now. I've got one of them. So this is the 2021 original EDP. And then I think in 2022, was it 2022? Yeah, we got the EDP Fraiche, which kind of looks like this. Both of those composed by Anne Ao. They've got a very kind of Nivea feel to them, I think, there. But I think they've sort of they're a little bit underrated. Um, because for what they are, they actually work really, really well. Um, let's spray the original, and I think the fact that I can't actually fully decide whether I prefer the original or the fresh shows that there's something interesting going on with them. Because sometimes I prefer the original. I think today I prefer the original, um, but sometimes I prefer the fresh. So this is actually not a million miles away from the quiet floral mimosa type inflections of the Johann K snowflake that we were talking about earlier. Is that the new Chanel O bottle? Says Pradeep. No, but it is similar, isn't it? It is similar to that. It's for a mainstream modern presentation of watery, petally, aquatic florals for touches of lily of the valley, for things that are just quietly sort of skin huggy and lactonic and subtly musky. I thought it was done really, really well. And does have a kind of Nivea cream feel to it as well. But maybe that's a sort of rose. I don't have a blurb for it, an official blurb, but I can just tell you that apparently the notes are almond milk, orange blossom, jasmine, lilac, musk, cedar, and vanillin. So they don't mention things like lily of the valley or freesia. To me, it plays with those sorts of ideas, with the sort of sweet pea idea, with lily of the valley idea. Oh, the Hungry Guy says, my sense of smell returned yesterday. Thank goodness. Why did you lose it? And I'm wearing L'Odyssée Vetiver today to beat the stifling heat. Aquatic floral perfumes, says Noah, aren't normally my style, but Miyake does it well. Yes, and it is very, very Issey Miyake. The original Issey Miyake, the L'Odyssée, of course, was trying to, in an olfactory sort of fantastical, poetic way, conjure the smell of water. This is maybe meant to be the smell of a drop of water. We've got one coming up soon, haven't we? I think the internet has already got images of the bottles, and the news was broken by one of the websites. We've got Celle d'Issey coming soon, and I thought, okay, so the smell of salt, that might be interesting. Very, very Issey Miyake type idea. But this lasts, I think, an impressive length of time. Yes, you can kind of tell that it's synthetic, but it's not bothersomely synthetic in any way. Let's compare it with the Fraiche. Alcoholic Nun says, I haven't experienced this flanker, unfortunately, but the original evokes lilac blossoms basking in the sun, cocooning, cashmeran-laden, laundered musks. Very beautiful. Yeah, I'm glad you agree. I'm glad you agree. So this is the Fraiche, also by Anne Ao. I actually think it's very linked with En Passant, says Ilias. Yeah, there you go. Well, then, so you're also picking up on lilac and freesia and what have you. Yeah, today I'm reading the Fraiche as trying a bit too hard, as maybe being just a touch too synthetic, losing a little bit of that sort of gentleness that I think makes the original EDP worth checking out. What are the notes for this one? So again, it's a rain accord, okay, whatever that means, and then lilac, rose, sandalwood, and cedarwood. Yeah, on paper today, out of the two of them, this one I think is just being a little bit too boorish. It's like, there's a drop of water that's kind of screaming to make itself heard. but maybe in colder weather, this is the one that would work better. I don't know. It's I think they're both interesting pieces of work that were unfairly overlooked when they came out, and we have pre-sprayed of them as well. So this is the pre-sprayed original drop. Yeah, just very, very quietly and subtly doing its thing. And the fraiche, the fraiche is ironically a bit less fresh, but actually in the dry down, the kind of quiet muskiness of it is attractive. Okay, and that brings us to the one that I just wanted to save for the end because it's a good one. And it is this from Puente, from Elian Puente, who very, very kindly gave up his time a little while ago to do an interview on this channel. And it's called, sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, but I'm going to say it's Chyprelia. I don't think it's Chyprelia because there's one L. I don't know. So we're going to go with Chyprelia. But I understand that it's a limited edition and that it's almost sold out. So if you like the sound of what I'm about to tell you, then you mustn't delay if you would like to get it. I promise I'm not on commission. Eliam doesn't even know that I'm reviewing it today. Like a lot of his perfumes, it is quite retro-y. And, you know, as I was smelling it, I wore it a couple of times. I did think to myself, oh gosh, you know, do we sometimes push the retro thing a little bit too hard? Do we go too much into this thing of constantly praising the retro type scents? But I don't think that we do it excessively because certainly I think on this channel we praise things that are quite modern and modernistic as well. And also I think doing retro for the sake of doing retro isn't a terribly good idea either, because we don't want to, you know, we don't want things that are just mere clones of things that have been done in the past. But okay, let's have a spray. This is just such an instant smile on my face. And, you know, for the sorts of people who watch this channel, for the sorts of people who enjoy the golden era of perfumery and like smelling vintagey type scents, I mean, this has got our collective name written all over it. It's so good. It's so heartbreakingly good. And you know what it made me think of? And I know that this is kind of perhaps over high praise, and it sounds like I'm kind of overhyping it, and people are going to start thinking that I'm on commission. I promise you I am not. It actually made me think, gosh, this is Mitsuko reborn in 2024 as you know, with all of the attributes of the past intact, of the positive attributes of the past intact, but also with lots and lots of modern attributes to make her relevant for this moment in time. Now, I say this as someone who considers Mitsuko itself, Guerlain's Mitsuko, to be extraordinary. I mean, you know, there's no point in my saying it's extraordinary because we all know that it's extraordinary. But also, I think that current Mitsuko is in very, very good shape, or at least the last version that I smelt of the Extrait was in really, really good shape. Thierry Vasser famously fixed it, sorted it out, really beautiful. It is a perfume that speaks to us of the past. To me, there's nothing wrong with that. This is like trying to re-express the idea of Mitsuko for the modern age. So it still has that kind of nod to retro sensibilities. It couldn't not have a nod to retro sensibilities, being a kind of peachy, mossy, woody chypre. But I guess what makes it modern is a kind of lightness, a luminosity. I mean, this stuff is just golden. It's just golden hued, just brimming with sparkling life. And I've also, I mean, I'm smelling it and I'm thinking, what is this citrus note in here? Because it just smells so delicious. I mean, I don't know what he's done or what he's used, but whatever it is, it's wonderful. And I think I've spoken before about Elian Puente's work in relation as well to scents like Azuré, because then you also get a kind of sense of Estée Lauder, original Estée Lauder Azuré coming through, that kind of more bitter, less fruity, leathery chypre. And somewhere the two combine and just create this. I mean, it is heaven. It is one of the most gorgeous things I've smelt for a long time. And I'm so lucky to have this bottle. I will treasure it. And if you like the sound of it, all I'm saying is it's a limited edition, and apparently the batch is why is it a limited edition? I think I need to write to him and actually find out why it's a limited edition. What can I tell you about it? Probably not a great deal, but let's see if we can quickly just get onto the Puente website. There we go. It's the first one. Our new limited batch sheep. Okay, so limited batch. Does that mean that he might make another batch? Polpo says, hate this limited edition thing. It seems they play on the fear of missing out. I know, but the fear of missing out is real. Noah says, sounds truly amazing. Love Mitsuko, but haven't smelled the new version. How is the EDT and EDPs? Oh, I'd have to return to smell them. The infamous essence, says the website, of oak moss is brightened by radiant lemon, okay, and bergamot. Jasmine, rose, and peach bring sensual elegance, while earthy notes of patchouli, vetiver, and leather provide depth and richness. And that's all he says, which is great. Apart from a list of notes, we've got bergamot, lemon, aldehydes, ylang ylang, jasmine, peach, rose, geranium, patchouli, vetiver, and oak moss. Yeah, the leatheriness comes through more and more strongly. It's really nicely done. It's really seriously very nicely done. Ula says, guess who just ordered Yasaman cigarette? Been after this for ages, so thank you for saying it's been discontinued. Well, I think it's discontinued. It's not on their website anymore. Did you get it on their website, Ula? Power Connection says, I think the fact that many vintage scents are unknown to many, it doesn't matter. So many haven't been worn by their parents, grandparents, that they've never smelt them. Very, very good point, yes. Sophie Art says, the wording around the batch makes me wonder if they might use some natural ingredients, yes, that maybe, might change or might not be available. Perhaps I'll write to Eliam and ask him. It is on the website. It is on the website, says Popo. Are you talking about Yasaman cigarette? Well, when I looked, it wasn't. So I don't know what's happening. Okay. Oh, and pre-sprayed Chyprelia. Just the right sort of touch of seriousness. I think what it is, it's like it's a smiling Mitsuko, because Mitsuko is quite a serious sort of scent. It's quite, in its own way, quite an austere sort of grand scent. This is a less formal Mitsuko, and I suppose 2024 is a less formal time compared to when Mitsuko came out. This is a more approachable Mitsuko, but it has got character. So it's not a wishy-washy Mitsuko. It's a sheep with guts, with personality. Okay, ladies and gents, we are done. Like I said at the very beginning, thank you so much for everything, for all of your support, for all the comments. Keep them coming. I should also finish by saying that if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do consider doing so. Click on the little bell so that you'd get notifications of new videos coming your way. If you've enjoyed the video, it really does help if you give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to find out how you can support my work, you should be able to see a link to my Ko-fi page in the video description below. The plan for the next few weeks is that various posts will be scheduled to come up on my Substack. You will also see a link to my Substack in the video description below. Today's Substack, by the way, is a film review, of just the most amazing film, a Polish film by the director Agnieszka Holland called Green Border, and also a mention of a film by Matteo Garrone. So do check that out. As you know, on the Substack, I don't just write about perfumes, but there are some perfume reviews coming your way. There is at least one perfume interview coming your way, a few more reviews of other bits and bobs. So subscribe to the Substack if you would like to. Not all of the posts there are behind a paywall. Some of them are free, like today's one is free, actually. Be good. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. Keep smelling wonderful. Enjoy spraying those perfumes. Save the special ones a bit, but don't save them too much, because they do go off and you never know if you might not have a chance to wear them. But above everything else, thank you for everything. Thank you for making all of this so much fun, so enjoyable. And I will see you soon. Bye now.